Still loading. Okay, here we go. So, good morning, everyone. I believe today we have a lot of topic on the discussion management paper, but so I will make it the Trello card update it quickly. Okay, we will start from the partnership campaign. Start from the MIY phone and WhatsApp campaign. Over to Aldo.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time. So the updates here, you can see on the attachment. And for the update itself, there's not currently not much movement for this campaign. I'm currently focusing on converting leads from offline sourcing, and also the upper funnel bandwidth, which is Bill and Sila, is currently on offline canvassing too. So there's not much movement on the upper funnel. So yeah. So I think there's the update for this card. Back to Mr. Chair.
Okay. My question will be, do you already manage Bill and Cynthia? I mean, have you decide
Yep.
what the area, the roles?
So for the market coverage, I think it's Mas Rizal's
Oh, I
work
see.
to assign, but for
Okay.
the update itself, they will update on the paper instead of the on the WhatsApp group as our agreement. Maybe
Mhm.
for Mas Rizal.
Yes.
Okay, so from my side is I believe I will assign USLA for Bill and Sila on the next Monday because it will be together with for Bill and Sila to orientation also regarding team workflow and also update using Trello and also Pepper.
I see.
Yeah.
So on the next Monday, yeah, they will work together. Okay. Okay. So please update the card if you guys already have a discussion with them. Okay. I think we can next offer to MI7 to canvassing offer to Mas Rizal.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. From the A and B funnel, the number is increasing, a new leads, and basically the list is have manager or owner on the front end. I will assign the canvasser to search property based on the BI situation, which is the Umalas area, Umalas and Cambridge area. And for right now, we still don't have a smooth workflow from the demand BI to canvasser because previously, wait, Mas Yoni, can you
You
hear
guys
me?
are in the same room, right? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I will write again. For right now, we still didn't have a smooth workflow from the demand from BI and HR to Canvasser because previously they still don't have access and orientation regarding the flow and team workflow and also asynchronous update on Trello and the paper. But on the Monday, I'm planning to have pairing with Sila and Bill regarding the team workflow for the smooth update and also assign a new SLA to them. And okay, for the C funnel, there's increasing three new meetings that had yesterday from Wayan and also Aldo, but the percentage is the same. And for the funnel D, we got one new temporary leads from Seminyak, which is Villa Ujung, two bedroom, and have 12 million rupiahs per month. Yeah, I believe that's from my update back to Mr. Cha.
Okay, thank you, Mas Rizal, for the update. Okay, I think everything is good. If is you guys have a comment on this one, or do you have something to add for this card? Okay, if it's no, okay, I will continue. Move to the next card. Okay, so the next card is MI3, the website campaigns. So I will give the update from this campaign. So I already add the new metrics from the a funnel from web traffic. So there is a SEO, organic, direct, Google Ads, Facebook, and Instagram as well. So I think it's could be more easier to track, and it is make more easier to delegate to new your intern based on this metric. And there is not much activity basically. So last time we got one new request partner from Nusa Penida, which is Kukuh Penida Village ya, Aldo ya. So yeah, I think that's it on the update. Is there anything that we need to discuss from this card? Okay, over to Mas Rizal.
Okay, I see from the analytics that from the 9th of November until 12th of November, there is an increasing traffic basically. But okay, for my assumption is we also held a BVE talk yesterday, right? And uh, this is my curiosity basically. Is there from the audience of the BVE talk is also visiting the Manage My Property page, or okay, or we current or we have like a new period that basically new leads will visit our manage my property page basically.
I see. Okay, that's one a good question, I think. And to answer your question, it's I think it's need a more understanding what is. I think it's related also to the topic that we talk about, and what is the uh, outreach and the apa poster that BVL talk spread out. So yeah, it is depend on the some various apa ya various apa namanya factor as well. So yeah, that's it. Okay, over to you, sir.
Is there a more data way that you can answer that question, Yanni?
Not yet, sir. Yeah, that's what I say. We just need open the Google Analytics first, and then we need to deep analyze first, sir.
Okay.
But okay.
Let's go over to Rizal. Does anybody else know what the procedure is to answer Rizal's question? Let's go over to Aldo.
Sorry, Mas Rizal, would you mind to review the questions?
Okay, my question is we have increasing traffic from 9th of November until 12th of November, right? So my question is that the traffic from the BVE talk, because we also held a BVE talk previously, or at that period we have a jump of traffic from the property owners list basically. That's my question.
Yeah,
Aldo.
I think for seeing from where is the traffic comes from, we can like just separate the source and so what page they coming in, so we can know which traffic that is coming from if we break it down. Is that answer your question, Jing?
Not in the best way possible. There's a one-step process that you can do to get exactly what Rizal's asking for. Gani, do you know what that is?
I believe we should just open the Google Analytics and see the behavior flow, and we can track
Perfect.
the traffic from there.
Perfect. Okay. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what it looks like, everyone. To answer Rizal's question, here is the behavior flow that Gani was talking about. You need to set the parameters correctly, okay? Let's just say I've set the parameters from October 1st to November 13th. I think BBE Talk was probably the advertising started on November 1st to November 13th, okay? So let's take a look and see how much of that traffic actually moved in. We'll highlight the traffic through BBE Talk by using this selection. So you can see the majority of traffic through BBE Talk, 433 visits, 413 dropped off, which is exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go on the page and sign up, actually, not cruise to another page. So this page has only a single purpose, which is to get people to go to the BBE Talk. But from that, 2 people ended up on Manage My Property. So I don't know what that is, but here you go. Highlight the traffic through there. And you can kind of see the majority of traffic that you get through here right now is coming from the Bukit Vista homepage, and a little bit from jobs, and a little bit from these blogs, long-term rentals and such, okay? That is what's getting you traffic through this particular this site at the moment. BVE Talk is a little bit. You can see it's only like about, I think if you zoom in, it's only 2 sessions came in out of the total 45 that went to manage my property. The majority of them, 34 of them came from the homepage. Okay? All right. Remember, BVE Talk is actually not supposed to send people to manage my property. Or maybe it is, I don't know, right? You have to think about, like, does a college student actually have a property that they would need to have managed?
Yeah.
Or maybe a speaker has a property that they would need.
Yeah, I think it depends on the topic, sir. I think it depends on the, like, previously on the data science, and then I guess, or yeah, perhaps on the future we like gather about, we talking together about the property architecture or perhaps something like that.
There you go. Right. Yeah, that's perfect. If we talk about architecture, the audience might be people who are interested in architects, which could be property owners. Very good, Johnny. That's a sharp one. I like that. Okay, good. Yeah, so you're using the same page now for a different audience, depending upon what kind of audience was attracted to it. Okay.
So yeah, what I can say is the free talk is as a tool, so we can direct to certain apa namanya, certain funnel, which is or to the jobs or to the property owners or to perhaps our guests, perhaps. So yeah, something like that. So I think the free talk is as a tool. So yeah, I will write it down the Masizal question there on the paper, since I'm the project champion. Okay, I think just that the update from the partnership campaign, and okay, for the revenue campaign, the Instagram conversion optimization and Facebook marketing. I believe we will update it after the BI Scrum for this evening. So to be honest, in this morning we doesn't have any update, so we will skip it. Okay.
Maybe I can give a little bit.
Okay.
Since
Great.
we cannot see the inquiries first, right? So I have calculated the ratio impressions and ratio profile visits.
I see. Okay.
It's in the status update. So in the ratio impressions, it's actually decreasing 51%. But comparing from the last week we have 2 weeks ago we have decreasing in 200, and now the decrease is only 51. So there are improvement increasing, even though it's still decreasing. And for the profile visit is increasing in 12%. For the inquiry, yeah, we still wait for the BI.
Okay. I think you. Okay. Oh, so for this one, I think you have to screenshot the status update first, and then put it into the card, and then make this the screenshot to be cover of the card. So because what I can say is we still on the top of card we still see the last week update. So yeah, for the status update, we have to screenshot first, put it in the attachment, and make it as cover. I think that's for the best practice of updating card. Okay.
But it's not complete yet, so I
put it. Yes. Usually we update it on the evening after the ice cream. Okay. I think just that for the Trello card update. I will stop sharing and move it into discussion management paper. Okay, and here we go. So I believe this is the main reason why me and Masizal held the this Friday video discussion, because on the last thread from Jing about marketing, BD, advertisement discussion. This from this card is talking a lot of stuff about the perhaps on the SLA and vision and mission as well, because we talk about like two different sides, like a guest journey and partner journey. So we need to discuss together to like share and hear what is the opinion from this paper. Okay, perhaps from user you want to
I'll be happy to lead this. Let's go over to Rizal first. Rizal, what did you bring up? Tell us your discoveries.
Okay, I discovered new stage basically. Um, for my part is from the before property owners discover us basically. So it's like
Mm,
seat talk program that we can uh, actionable things that we can stimulate the property owners to can find us before they
excellent.
discover Bukit Vista by
Mhm.
using the journey is they launch application to the bank. They find recommendation about architecture and then find the interior designer and also they learn what is the villa management and also the benefit using management itself.
Okay. All right.
That's apa namanya, my suggestion to improve the journey. And also I basically I add new flow for the short term partner. So previously is if we got a new temporary partner, we're trying to move them into a long-term partnership, right? So I suggest to after we got booking, the community team will start engaging them through
Nice.
community service and then converting them into a long-term partnership because it's already have a transaction and it's like we have a proof that we can again revenue to your property. Yeah, basically
Excellent. Okay.
that's it for me.
All right. Very good. Very good. Here's the thing. Let me go over to Grace. Grace, what's good about what Rizal brought in? What could he do better?
Uh, since for the related to awareness, since we have
Mhm.
like a lot of source for the awareness and the additional and the latest additional would be C talk. So I agree with the fine recommendation from architect and everything.
Okay. All
And
right.
then
Very good.
uh, I would like to add maybe they find recommendation from their own friends and from the C
Yes.
talk from the C talk also
Okay.
from and we start engaging. That's for the uh and I think because a lot of property owners maybe find us first not from recommendation but a lot of sources so we can like make maybe like uh, a lot of possible answers in that.
Okay. All right. Let's keep on going. Let's go over to Aldo. Aldo, what has Rizal gotten correct? What could he do better?
Yep, I think for in regards of the seed talk, if what we're talking about, if we want to start, I think it's already good. It's coming from the application loan from bank and then find accommodation. But I think we could also stretch the journey maybe from where the partner is looking for an its investment.
Mhm.
So I already say right also on my side. So I think we can also like stretch the journey to where when they are finding a way to invest on something or to have their money going to where. I think it can stretch the journey there.
Okay. Okay. Interesting, Aldo. Gunny, what do you think? What's there that's good and what's could be improved?
Yeah, from my opinion, the Mas Rizal statement is, I think it's good because it's discovered new area that we haven't covered yet. But I believe this is still kind of like activity. I mean, still yeah,
Mm.
still apa namanya? If on the funnel is still like a tiny part of the funnel. So from my opinion, it could be better if we can also connect the dots. I mean, between the apa namanya, between the chapter, between the person, perhaps. So I'm trying to zooming out a bit about the Mas Rizal statement.
Okay.
Yeah, but I appreciate it's good because Mas Rizal discovered new area.
Okay, this is great. Okay, everyone has actually pretty good pieces of the puzzle. I'll try to connect all the dots together, okay? What you first need is you need to understand a user journey, okay? When you understand a user journey, most user journeys to becoming a property owner are very similar, okay? So it begins with desire, okay? You need to, it's like a story. We were doing this in community the other day. We're telling a story. You need to kind of imagine, okay, what's the story of Pat Nunga? Okay, Pat Nunga is a lobster fisherman in Canggu. Okay, so imagine a movie about Pat Nunga, right? Imagine a short movie in 5 minutes. How would that movie look like, and why would anybody want to watch it? Okay, it needs to have those emotional anchor points. These are called the moments of truth. So just imagine here, right? First scene, Pat Nunga, he's a lobster fisherman, right? So he's going on his boat and he's pulling up a deck of lobsters. And then you hear a voiceover. I've been a lobster fisherman in Canggu all my life. I grew up with lobsters. I do lobsters, and this is my livelihood. And then he gets on the beach, and then he sees new construction everywhere in Canggu, right? And then he's like wondering, is lobstering going to be my future forever? Is it going to be the future for my children? Is it going to be the future for whatever, right? He looks, and then let's say he approaches and he looks at this building and it looks just really sophisticated. And then he looks at himself and he's wearing like rubber boots, right? And then he feels like he doesn't belong, right? He feels like all these things happening are too sophisticated, too complex for him, okay? So he feels a little bit of doubt right now. But then he looks in his bank account and he goes like, but I've made good money all these years in my business and I want to put that money to a good purpose so that I will be able to participate in this growth in my own neighborhood. I don't want to miss out. So then, you know, he goes on the internet, but maybe he doesn't even know how to open a laptop, right? He asks his kids and they're ignoring him. They're sort of like on their phones and he can't seem to get any help to how to get involved in this process. And meanwhile, he looks at a newly built villa and he sees people walking in with suitcases. And then he sees this guy who owns the villa driving a Mercedes-Benz, okay? He's like, why can't I be like this person? So then a Bukit Vista host shows up on his door and gives him a vision for what he can do. He goes, I don't trust you guys are new. But then the Bukit Vista person comes back, you know, acts a little clumsy, eventually gets Pat Nunga to sit down and listen to a presentation. Pat Nunga doesn't understand computers, but he understands how to look at a presentation. He understands that this is good. And then they discuss, and then they decide to do it. They shake hands, and then Bukit Vista finds a contractor. Bukit Vista finds and then he's built it, and now he has created this. His first guest checks in. He checks his bank account. There's like $10,000 dollars in it, and now he drives a better Mercedes-Benz than his neighbor, right? So that's like example of a user journey to get through. Now, all throughout the journey, there's emotional high points, right? There's the feeling of not belonging. There's the feeling of missed opportunity. There's the feeling of something's happening in the future and I'm not getting into it, right? There's the feeling of fear of like, I don't understand how technology works. There's the feeling of frustration, not being able to get your kids or your family to actually teach you these things. And then there's the resolution, right? That's an example of one user journey. Just based on that user journey, you can create a marketing team just to address that particular user journey, right? Like, how do I get you to notice us when you're fishing for lobsters, right? How do I get you to actually like, when is the right time to come in? Maybe when you're fishing for lobsters is not the right time to come in, but it's the time when you actually look in your bank account, you see this money, and then you look into Canggu and you see all these new buildings being built, okay? So these are sort of more enriched user experience, user journeys. You can actually taste and feel each particular step of the way. Now, where you come in is essentially you help solve these problems, right? This person is feeling. This person has tangible problems. Yes, they need an architect. Yes, they need an interior designer. Yes, they need a loan. But what is the emotional problem that they're trying to solve? It's probably more fundamental. It's probably like, I feel like I'm being left behind, right? And everyone else is getting ahead. It's like frustration. I feel like I know something interesting is happening, but somehow I'm unable to participate in it. This is where your solution becomes a solution, right? I'm here so that you don't feel behind. I'm here so that you can participate and exceed your neighbors or the other people around you, okay? That fundamentally is understanding the user journey. What is it that they actually feel? Think about why people travel. Do people travel really so that they can book a hotel, so that they can book a flight, so that they can go on a tour? Those are problems along the way. But the reason they travel is to feel something different, right? Maybe they travel because they saw their friends go there and they feel like, I'm being left out. Why am I the only person that hasn't been to Komodo yet, right? Maybe they travel because they've just made some money and they're like, I need to give myself a holiday to reward myself. I need to do this, right? Maybe they travel to escape from a bad family situation, right? I need to get away from these people that annoy me. Who knows, right? So those are the emotional anchors for why people do this. In marketing, you kind of need to understand what those are, okay? So you need to understand the checkpoints, and those are the moments of truth. But Rizal, you also need to understand why these checkpoints are important, okay? Because if you don't understand why they're important, you will have to force the person through each checkpoint. But if you understand why it's important for the person, you don't have to force them to the checkpoint. Let's go back to Pat Nunga's example. So if we know that his underlying feeling is FOMO, that if we know his underlying feeling is frustration, then we can address, you need to find a good architect so that you don't get left behind. I'm showing you the way. You see all these beautiful buildings around you? They had good architects. This is a good architect, right? So you get this good architect and you can win. You can drive that Mercedes-Benz that is twice as good as your neighbor, as an example. Interior designer, same reason, right? Style, design, that's what makes you feel better. But I don't know any interior designers. I don't know any good architects. Well, this is where we come in. This is where the C-Talk, you can select, you can shop, you can like look at all these different people. We will translate these English vlogs into Bahasa Indonesia so that you can select and figure out who's the right person for you. Villa management, right? Now that you have this beautiful thing, look, not every villa gets those guests that you can use to pay for your new Mercedes-Benz, right? But we do. We have that type of thing. That's what we're providing. So you have all the milestones there, but you also need to enrich it, right? With what is the emotional anchor at each point? What are they feeling? Why do they want an architect, right? Why are they hiring an interior designer? Those questions are fundamental to being able to create the correct messaging, okay? So you have a good number of checkpoints. Enhance it with emotional anchors. What is the feeling here? Why do they want it? What is the feeling here? Why do they want it? You can even go on the pro and con, right? Because that makes you more persuasive. What is the reason to get an architect? What is the fear to get an architect? Maybe it's they're expensive. Maybe they confuse me. Maybe they do whatever, right? I just don't know any architects. I don't even know how to talk to architects, right? So that's on the con side. What are the pros? The pros are I can have a beautiful property that becomes known by everybody in my neighborhood. The next one is I can get higher return on investment because I have a unique property that can sell on its own, right? And that then helps, I think, understand like what is the trigger points for each particular stage. So you've mapped it out pretty well. I think you're probably also, Rizal, just to get more flesh into it, you're probably going to go and have to ask the owners, did they actually go through this process? Did they actually think about an architect? A lot of them never went through that process. They just went directly to a contractor that said, build me something similar to what you built over there. And the contractor took over the job of being an architect, okay? So you might need to get some actual factual sort of flesh around that. Yes, over the result.
Okay, sir. So from your explanation before, is basically it's different flow from in expert Pak Nengah and then Ibu Lily from
Yeah.
Olala. So
Yes.
my conclusion is still on the what is the journey that we want to achieve basically like at this time. If we want
Very
to
good.
Pak Nengah journey or just Ibu Lily journey.
Okay, that's a great question. And it really goes back to, I think, our strategy right now. Our strategy right now should be to get more villas. So we should probably go towards more of the Ibu Lily journey, right? because that is the journey that's a little bit more common. To understand that, you're going to have to understand, look, in the end, this is what success will look like. I'm thinking you'll probably only have about 5 different reasons, 5 different real journeys. Most people, it's not that diverse, right? It's not like, oh, I built this villa because I wanted a monument for my child, right? It's going to be pretty similar reasons. It's going to be, at some point I was getting old, and at some point I was thinking, what am I going to do with this money? And at some point I thought, instead of putting it inside of a bank or stocks or whatever, where I can't really see it, why not buy a property? But if I buy a property, then it decays over time. It doesn't have any value. Not if it produces rental, right? If it produces rental, then I can reasonably call it an investment, and I can feel good. 2 things about it. I can feel good that it is actually an investment and that it is a beautiful investment. When I invest in stock or invest in bonds or these things are, I can't see it, right? If I put like $500,000 in stock, I don't see anything. It's just a number. But if I put 500,000 in a villa, I can see it. I can use it. I can experience it, right? And it becomes something that becomes valuable for me. So as a marketer, I think you're going to have to understand what is the journey for that particular person. The easiest way is actually this. Take the group of people that we have that you want to replicate more of those properties, right? Let's say Ibu Lily. I know it's probably hard to talk about Ibu Lily, but if you talk about this subject to Ibu Lily, she will talk your ear off. She will absolutely talk your ear off. Why did you build this villa? I'm here to understand more about you, right? She loves talking about like that kind of thing. Not about like operational stuff, but about this, she will talk all day long about this. So get Ibu Lily to tell you about her journey. Tell about like, okay, who did you were going to buy this, right? Who did you trust to design it for you, right? What were you worried about in the very beginning? What made you want to pay this amount for this budget? All those things will give you a very rich picture. And believe me, there's other Ibu Lilies in this world, right? There must be other Ibu Lilies who have a very similar approach. At her age, with her money, with her purpose. That's what you find out. And then those are your checkpoints then. Okay, all right, let's go over to Gabby.
Okay, so from this first first topic there from Mas Yusa, I think I can create one conclusion that perhaps we can work closely to community to expand the seed talk, and we can give the community the idea first. I mean, like from the architect, interior design, and villa management, and anchor with the emotional, and we give it to the community team, and let community reach out to our owners. So they help the event, and we can hear out as well. So
that's right. You're going to have to work with community first to get your persona, though, right? This is why I've asked you guys to go to the C Talks, to listen to how Pot Eka talks, to how Pot Yudi talks. When you listen to these people talk, you are really listening to their persona. When you recommend an architect, how do you know that architect's any good, right? For them. Not if they're any good, but are they good for them? You don't know, right? You don't know how they feel. But imagine this. Here, Pot Eka, here's an architect. Here's Gary Felt. You should talk to him. Why? Because he's really good at what he does. Okay. But imagine you know Pot Eka, right? And you talk to Pot Eka. You said, hey, Pot Eka, did you ever feel any regret building your property? And maybe he shares with you, you know what, Gunny, I'm happy you asked me that. Because I do. And you go, what did you regret? I regret I spent the same amount of money, but other people built more beautiful places, and they seem to be more occupied than I do, and they make more money. You do, okay. Why do you think that they're more occupied? Because they have a better design. And how do you know they paid the same? Because I talked to their contractor. Okay. You know what, Pot Eka? I have a recommendation for an architect. You do? Yeah. I have a recommendation for architects for the next time you build a property or you want to renovate your property. This guy can make you something that looks like this, and you can get higher returns on investment, and you won't feel that regret anymore. How does that sound? That sounds great. So in order to persuade, in order to market, you need to be able to trigger an emotion. You need to be able to trigger what is the underlying moment of truth, okay? These moments of truth happen all day long, even in your own life, right? Why did you join Bukit Vista? How did you feel at the very beginning? How did you feel at the low? You know, what made you want to continue? Like all these moments, if you could trigger that, then you can sell that to a new generation of people who want to join the company, right? Feel this, get this, right? But if you don't know what triggers people, it's just all guessing. It's all, you should talk to this architect. Yeah, this architect's great. And then they never connect. But if you know, you should talk to this person because he will make you feel less regret about your future investments. That's very persuasive. That doesn't let anyone down. Okay. So yes, Gunny, you're absolutely right. Work with community both ways. You need to get the personas out of the community, and then you need to then deliver what is the correct. It's kind of a lock and key, okay? So they provide you the lock, you provide the key. But if you don't know what the lock looks like, how are you going to decide how to build the key, right? So you got to kind of like think about, all right, what is the user journey? What is the user journey? What is the user journey? Once you have a user journey, you can start building teams around the user journey because that is reliable. That is a sort of a step-by-step process. And then you create KPIs around each emotional anchor point, okay? How many people did we get to sign up for an architect, right? How many people looked at an interior designer? How many people did this and this and this and this? How many people didn't approach Bukit Vista? If you know it, then you know how to control it. If you don't know it, you cannot control it. Okay.
I think that's great. I think we create a new SLA for the community, between the end community. So I think it's first step of the next discussion,
Absolutely.
the SLA discussion perhaps. So yeah, I believe this is still still abstract, but I believe for the next meeting we will make it more concrete as well.
Okay.
On the next still in the same topic, I bring these 4 simple stages of a customer journey from stranger until become a client or a customer. So rather than focus on each activity, what we can do, I just think about very zooming out. So just very general activity. So there is 4 stages like unaware, aware, solution, and action. So unaware is first that people doesn't aware that actually they have problem. Like Pak Nangah have a lot of money, but but he doesn't know what he gonna do with this money. And our job is very similar, like make them aware. Hey, here we go. There is a lot of people around you, and they occupy very profitable. So our job is to make them aware. And once they aware, but they don't know the solution, right? So we just give the solution. We content on the Instagram, for the website. Just create, here is the solution for you, okay? And once after that, they know the solution, but they don't know who to believe in. So we just came up and we contact them, or Aldo contact the leads, and then make the first calling, make a pitching, and after that for the action, they already believe on our brand, and then make them stay with us. So I break down it's just very general activity like marketing, do the brand awareness, and then for the where, make content to give solution. For the solution, we do the pitching, and the last is action, like we as a company work together on they do their roles. So I think it's same also with the guest journey on this one. So yeah, I think that's it. Perhaps somebody will add more comment or disagree with my opinion, perhaps. Let's go first off to Aldo. What do you think, Aldo?
Yep. Okay. So for your guest journey, I think yes, you want to make it simple, but as we're going back to what we've been talking about, so we in order to understand what our customer needs, we have to know what kind of situations they have. Yeah, but and I think I don't see like the breakdown of everything, like, what stage of what situation are they feeling, and yeah, basically that, because because you're just making it like very general,
Mhm.
and yeah, I agree with this, but I think it needs to be more detailed and
Yeah,
breakdown. Yeah.
yeah, perfect, Aldo. Yes, I agree with you also. for Mas Rizal, perhaps you want to say something?
Dictate with Aldo basically.
Okay, okay. Over to Grace. What do you think?
Yes, maybe this is one that I haven't think about, but yeah, basically this is the like the main frame, yeah, for the
Yeah,
marketing, like from unaware aware solution to action. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my apa ya? Just my point to what I'm responding to that Jinx paper. So the last thing, over to you, sir. You want to add something, perhaps?
Aldo, that's very good. This is exactly what I do here, and you just did it. So that's a strategic discovery. Gani, exactly what Aldo said. You need more flesh around it. Okay, so what is okay? Gani has a good structure here, but then the key is what is the case, right? What does the case actually look like of somebody being unaware? Give me 10 of those, okay? What is the case of being aware but unaware of the solution? Give me those, right? And what is the solution of people not agreeing? Give me those. I think that's where you need to flesh out all the scenarios. And when you flesh out the scenarios, then you can do something about it, right? So we have the skeleton, but we don't have a body.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir, for the input. Okay. The last thing. Oh, the next from the Grace. Okay. So okay, over to you, Grace.
Yes, I think because everyone is already uh, mapping the main journey, so maybe for me it's for the additional partner journey. So not only not only later time, we are not only like marketing about how good we are, but also we are marketing about how they can trust us, like how we are helping the partner, like how to handle bad reviews.
Mm.
Like first time, they will have maybe they will give recommendation maybe for their friends or through Sito, and then we can get the funnel moving, and we can get another lead. So yeah, I think from the Instagram also I learned from HAR actually that we are also marketing trust, not only what benefit they will get. Yeah. So yeah, basically that's my additional for the partner journey. See.
Yes. Okay. That's great, Grace. So I think we discovered new area that we're not talking about our good we are, but also we gain the trust. Like yeah,
Yes,
what the Grace said.
like we are not only uh, getting you to sign up our partnership,
Mm,
but we are also guiding you through the main moment of truth, and then
yeah.
how we can also like increasing. I mean, if they have a better like service, and then we can increase the revenue also, right?
I see. Okay. Okay. That's very great, Grace. So for the make a time short. So anyone have a opinion for the Grace opinion? Okay. I think. Oh yeah. Yeah. To you, sir. Okay.
I think that's actually good. You found two new moments of truth, right? The first time you're hiring staff, first time getting a bad review, and first time getting involved in a C talk. I think that's great. That's actually good because these are all at different stages of the user journey too as well, right? So I think those are good moments of truth. And I like how Grace is thinking about the advocacy of this person because ultimately the best marketing, as we discussed in the beginning, is marketing that happens on its own. So we don't have to market anymore. Our community starts marketing for us. And thinking about what that actually looks like is very good strategically. And I like how like yeah, we can give them the platform of C-Talk, they can introduce their own property, and they can speak on behalf of Bukit Vista, right? For Bukit Vista. So.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. Okay. For the next, I think the last is from Aldo. Okay. Do you want to explain more, Aldo?
Yep, for the partnership journey, I think it's the same as Mas Rizal, and we've discussed it. But I think the for the guest journey, we haven't really talked about it. So I write my own guest journey. So the first one is guest needs some stress relief, so they want to travel. So it's coming on the awareness side. So and then guest searching for places to go to Bali. So it's like just guys searching for places to go. So and they discover Bali. So they want to go to Bali. Then it's from the consideration funnel. Then guest found the ticket, and also guest found the place they want to stay. And that is the moment of truth when guest meets Bukit Vista. Is when they find their property with their desired budget. So and that is when the moment of truth. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's great as well, Aldo. So yeah, anyone have an opinion for that? Okay. If no, oh yeah, what do you sir?
Back to the emotional anchor points, right?
Mm.
So I think stress reliever is a little bit vague, right? You need to let's say you're right. Just think of it this way: you're making a movie. What is your first scene? Let's say this person is at work, right? And they just have too many deadlines. And then what they see is let's say this person's single, okay? Person's single, and it's holiday season now, right? And they just got like a promotion at work, okay? So their boss is giving them a pat on the back. They check their new title. They put a new card on their desk. They're a senior marketing whatever, right? And then they see their friends and they're on video calls with their family. They're about to go back home, and this person has nowhere to go, right? They're single. Their parents have passed away. They look at a photograph on their desk, and it's black and white of their two parents, right? So they got nowhere to go. So then they started thinking about like, okay, what inspires me? And then they maybe see a vlog on YouTube or something, and like, that looks good. Okay, and then their process starts, right? And then they look at their bank account and they think, I'll splurge on myself, and then the process starts.
Yeah.
So try to flesh it out with more emotional context, right? Flesh it out with what is actually the story going to look like. Be authentic. Be authentic. All right. It can't be something that you just imagine and doesn't actually really ever happen, right? So the only way for it to be authentic is you already have the skills. You have to like interview people. You kind of have to interview and get to the bottom of why did you travel? How many options did you have at the time? What did you have enough budget? Were you planning to spend more or less? Who were you planning to go with? What were the other things that you would have done with the time had you not traveled? And then that gets you all the juicy pieces to build that journey. So yeah.
Okay, great, Aldo, great, Jim. So, okay, for the last thing, basically this is just in my mind that at the first time, okay, we will have a discussion about this paper. We already put our thought there. Some of us have already discovered new things, but the main point is what next. that's the hard point for me. So I a bit difficult to make a decision. So okay, what's next?
Aldo knows.
Okay, over to Aldo.
Yep, I think the main thing that we need to discover with this topic is the user journey itself. So if we found, as what we talked again, if we found the journey, the intention, the desire of how people want to travel, how people wants to build the property, how their property about to be managed, we can fit in their journey, their intention. So we can go along with the intention. So our campaigns, our projects are going on that direction and journey as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Over to Mas Rizal, perhaps you want to add something.
Okay, from my side, as I think if we already break down the intention regarding the property journey, or regarding the property owner's journey or the guest journey, we can set SLA and KPIs of what number of we can send awareness to recommendation to of the architect, how many numbers of awareness that we can send to new property owners, prospect new property owners that know about our villa management. So I think that's the main reason that of why we break down this journey in our discussion basically.
Okay, so for the conclusion, I believe Aldo the secretary, right? So perhaps Aldo, you can write it down on the next. It's still abstract, right? So we need to discuss more about this. So on the next perhaps on the next Scrum next meeting we talk about the KPI. The main reason is the SLA, like what we want to achieve and how we break down the activities. Okay, the last word from user, perhaps.
I think Aldo has a good inkling of it, and this is the missing step right now that I often do, right, to sort of guide the chapter. I would actually like you guys to sort of work on it. Actually, not sort of work on it. Let's get Aldo. Aldo, how would you systematize this process? How would you actually take this abstract idea, form it into something that we can use as a guidance now for, yeah.
I think for most of guest journeys we need to create like storyboard. So from that from many storyboards we can uh, get what we want to create, what we want to do with that storyboard. So we could go into the user's intention as well.
Okay, so the storyboard is one way to do it. Let's
Yeah.
let's take a look around. Rizal, what do you think is another way that we can do it?
uh, if we still confuse what the journey is, we can do interview, and then based on that we can set the point of the stage basically, like from the simple Gani's thought previously, like unaware and then aware, and what is the stage of the aware, basically like we can send the ads, or people come into their properties, and then solution, what is the stage, and the action, what is the stage. I think from my side is we never act like property owners, but we can do interview of our current property owners to get the correct expectation from them.
Okay, very good. This is good. This is good. Gentlemen and lady, you guys have all the parts that you need already to organize a structure. You have to kind of be able to sort it out, right? You have the details. Grace has the details, right? Rizal has some of the details. You have some missing parts, which is the emotional state, right, of the person. You have the structure, and that's what Gani has at the moment. What you need to synthesize is, do you guys want to see it? Like I have kind of like a board that you can kind of, and you have this idea of like a mood board, right? That Aldo brought out. But you need to synthesize it into something that starts looking like something that you could use actually. So you guys ready to see what I have? Or do you guys want to figure it out on your own?
Perhaps a spark of you.
Okay. I'll show you kind of like what it is, right? This is my suggestion. I'll share my screen. What you kind of need at this point is a table, right? The table starts beginning a little bit like this. Okay, it begins a little bit like this. Let's say Patnunga, right? Patnunga is awareness. Why would he want to be aware? What's his sort of like awareness stage, and what's his emotional state? Let's go with his emotional state during awareness, right? His emotional state is that he feels good about his reserve cash, right? So he feels like he's got money. Okay, his emotional state, like a little bit FOMO, right? He sort of watches development around him, and he's not sure if he'll be involved. He feels a little bit left out. maybe even left behind, okay? He feels a little bit frustrated, because he can't find anyone to coach him, right? He can't find anyone to tell him what it's going, okay? Then in consideration, right? Let's say in the considerations phase, he's thinking about family first. He's going to his family, but then they are not reliable or available during that phase. He knows that he needs to do something, but he doesn't know what, right? Let's say during the conversion phase, why does he trust Bukit Vista? Because he was just about ready to give up, and his need, let's say, need to succeed, let's say his FOMO overcomes his fear of the unknown, okay? And advocacy is he feels confident at this point. Okay, so when you're targeting awareness at this point, what sort of options do you have to target awareness at this point? I don't know. Maybe you can say, look at your neighbors, right? That would trigger his FOMO, right? We're available all the time to help coach property owners, right? That's your messaging. That would trigger that. Okay, consideration. We're experts and available, and we've done this hundreds of times, right? So he's thinking about family first, and they're not available, but he's also worried about new people because they're strangers, right? And this consideration phase, you probably need neighbor testimonial, okay? If you include neighbor testimonial, that can help him feel a little bit, oh, you're not a stranger, you've helped my neighbor before. Okay, conversion stage, right? This is where you kind of need to show, okay, he's ready to give up. He's confused. Maybe he's confused. He knows he needs to do the process, but he's confused about the big questions, right? Who will build this? Okay, how much will this cost? How long will it take? Do I need a loan? Do I need a permit? Yada, 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 all these things, okay? This is where we share the community, okay? Like we have architects, we have interior designers, we have bank loan officers, and these people can answer your questions and they'd be happy to work with you, right? And this is how much they would cost, okay? All right, and then advocacy. Advocacy, we have a BVC talk, be the next speaker, okay? So each type of sort of lock has a corresponding key, okay? And then once you have a key, then the awareness becomes, let's say over back here. The awareness then becomes an operation, right? So how many impressions did we get on the theme of look at your neighbors, right? How many times are we running ads stimulating that theme, okay? Consideration, let's say, okay, this is consideration, right? How many meetings are we having? Or how many discussions are we having, right? Consideration, operation, okay? How many, let's just say, pitches do we do to emphasize this point? Our expertise. Maybe how many acts emphasize this expertise, right? So now you can get into operational things that you can do, right? So that's sort of like how the route begins. It begins with an emotional state, right? You start with an emotional state, then you think of what is the solution to address that emotional state. You're feeling FOMO. How do I make you feel more FOMO, right? Okay, how do I emphasize that this FOMO is real, that this is actually happening? So then that creates the beginning of how I get you to start caring about what I'm beginning to say. Yeah, you are right. There are a lot of people, they're making a lot of money more than you. And they're gonna be able to buy fancier things and have better ceremony than you will, right? So that becomes the way to actually trigger awareness. Yes, I'm aware. But if your awareness isn't in sync with the person's emotional state, it won't work, right? It won't actually get to the point. Okay, so that's an illustration of how you would build from the emotional state. And then each user would have a different user journey, right? Each user would then start having their own particular user journey. And that is how you craft a very advanced, and you guys are ready for it now, a more advanced and highly, highly efficient marketing campaign. Okay?
Okay. That's,
all right. I'll share this group. You guys can take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So I believe this this user journey we can discuss it for the next next meeting. So everyone perhaps can put the new case there. So we discuss together. So we determine what's the awareness, the activity, what is the KPI, and then what is the feel over there. So yeah, I think that's it. Actually, we just what the main intention we do this video meeting is we discover for this topic, this particular topic. So for the next the below topic or thread, we discover on the next meeting on the Monday. So yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you everyone for attending this meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, Gani, just to make it a little bit more concrete,
Okay.
What I've suggested is I put this on the DM discussion. I've tagged everybody on the document.
Yeah.
So what I think you guys can do is start practicing this, right?
Yeah.
Each person just write one. It can be hypothetical. Like this is hypothetical, okay? This is not authentic. This is what I think Patnanga feels. So this is hypothetical. It's better to have more authentic user journeys so that you can say, yes, this is absolutely how somebody kind of goes through and experiences things. If I can borrow a little bit more time, I know I'm cutting into your lunch hour, but I'd like to show you something, right? And this is related to sort of this is related to the intern side too as well. And this is essentially the same exercise, but now I've applied it to intern and mentor, okay? And this is what essentially, this is what really good marketing people you should always think of. You should think of everything in terms of a story. What is the story of success? What is the story of, whatever, right? So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about like this thing that we're trying to do right now. We're trying to add more people to the team. We're trying to be better mentors. We're trying to increase our capability. So what you need to imagine is, what is the story? What is the story of like a 1-star experience? What's the story of a 2-star experience? What's the story of a 5-star experience? If you can kind of imagine this all the way to the very end, now you have vision capability, and that is a skill I want to impart upon this team, okay? In the very beginning, everybody came here, you guys were doing skills, okay? So let's say Aldo, he had some moderation skills. Gani had content creation skills. Rizal had internet marketing skills. These are skills. Skills are okay, but skills just make you an individual contributor, okay? The next layer is you need to know how to manage things. So it's not just applying skills, but actually delivering results. So you have the skills, you have resources, but now you're in charge of results. That gets you a little bit higher. That's the middle stage. We call you, I guess, manager in that case. The highest stage is where you become a leader and a visionary, right? Now, a leader and a visionary, you need to be able to say, all right, now that I can accomplish my goals, I have the skills, I know how to get together resources, accomplish goals, what should I do, right? That's where you need to train and get better at sort of imagining what's the vision. This is great, but what does better look like? So let me just kind of bring you through the vision journey of, let's say, a mentor-mentee experience, okay? And this I just had recently, so I can speak very fluently on it, with one of the most recent interns. Let's say a 1-star intern, all right? We have our packages now. The 1-star intern is unmotivated and incompetent, okay? They're mostly ignored during the internship because they don't engage with anybody, nobody engages with them, so they just sort of float around during the internship. and they leave almost a little bit lower than when they first came in. They walk away less motivated, less confident than when they arrived. And their mentors are no better at being able to manage anybody before or after. So that's a 1-star relationship. What's a 2-star relationship? Let's say the intern is motivated, but they're not very confident. So they soak up a lot of mentorship energy and resources, and they leave slightly improved, but they don't really understand a lot of the higher order things, and they don't acquire any real skills to walk away with. And the mentor feels like, you know what, that probably wasn't worth it, right? Okay, what does a 3-star relationship look like? Okay, the intern is moderately motivated and mildly confident, so they're kind of middle in both. And they're able to manage decently simple delegations on their own, and they leave having learned basic business processes, and they can probably apply these skills without too much difficulty to another company or a job, okay? And the mentor feels like, you know, at least some basic work was done, and the overall net benefit to the company was positive. That's a 3-star relationship. Let's talk about 4-star relationship. The intern is highly motivated, and they don't just have they have growing competencies. So they come in with a certain competency, and each week or each day, their competency grows. So they're able to take on increasing complex and abstract missions with quality guidance from their mentors, okay? So it's like a very engaging type of relationship. We don't have the same old problems again. We have new problems that are of higher quality. And they leave transformed. Now they have new skills, they have new competencies, and they develop those competencies here, they learn these skills here. And they improve their future workplaces. So they don't just fit in the next place they work, they actually improve the next place they work at. And the mentor feels like, you know, it's kind of a loss in the team not to have them anymore. And they actually feel that they probably learned something from the intern by applying maybe the Feynman method. They were able to teach and relatively enhance their own understanding about what a particular topic was. And because the intern pushed the mentor's knowledge and the boundaries of the mentor as well. So there was a learn situation. Okay, what's a 5-star intern mentor relationship looks at? This is probably the interns at the top 1%, motivation and competency. And they're able to exceed the mentor's ability and scope by the end of the internship because they learn faster, they have enormous integrity, and they're fully dedicated to the mission of improving themselves and the industry. So this intern will be able to bring up the company by their sheer capacity and their desire. And they float in new ideas. They shift the way we think. They transform their mentors. And the mentors feel like the intern has actually expanded their own capability. Okay, so that is 3 types of user journeys, okay? Why do we start plotting out these user journeys? It's starting to make more sense out of chaos, okay? So when we go like, you know what? That internship relationship wasn't so good. So now we have a basis. Okay, was it a 1-star? Was it a 2-star? Was it a 3-star? Was it a 4-star? Was it a 5-star? Okay. This is a user journey that helps everybody understand what we need to do. It helps us understand, okay, let's say, for example, in the future, you apply the same method to marketing to bring on partners or guests. Then you kind of know, right? Is this a guest type A? Is this a guest type B? Is it a C or a D? Once you have these user journeys, it becomes much easier to have a common vocabulary to say, okay, this is a user journey A. This is a user journey B. This is a user journey C. So that way we can start kind of taking that abstraction and making it more concrete. After having explained this, I'm sure everybody now understands a little bit better like where a particular quality lays, right? What is the quality score that I can give? And that is ultimately, once again, a leadership thing. You have to be able to envision this thing and start prioritizing and categorizing it so that everybody else knows, okay, what does this actually mean when we say 1 star? What does it actually mean when we say 2 stars? Okay, so I'm showing you that as a final product of like, let's say a completed user journey. And then now until Monday, imagine now take that, apply it to a user journey for a guest or a partner and show us what you can do. Okay? All right, great. Practice, practice, practice. When you can do this, then you can start leading and you don't need me around anymore. Okay? All right.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, thank you everyone, and have a good day. Bye.
Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.